Okay, so before we get into today's video, I have a little bit of an announcement to make. Now, most of you might know by now, but for those that don't, I have joined a new esports organization known as Outlaw. Now, what Outlaw is this is a new organization that was founded by two big members of the Madden community that most of you may know. One goes by the name of Param Crow, the other goes by Bengal. Two staples in the community have been doing this for a long time. They got together, they wanted to start an organization, mostly starting out as content creators. They do have a professional Madden player on board by the name of Master Gamer. Some of you probably know who that is, but overall it's just mostly content creators to start out, and the goal is to work together, help each other grow, do content together and things of that nature. Start small and kind of just brick by brick build it out, grow big, and help each other grow, because when we're working together we can help each other grow. And then eventually I know that they plan to venture more into esports. I think right now it's mostly sports video gamers that they have on board, but they're definitely going to look to branch out once it grows. So starting small, but hopefully can grow it into something big. You've got to start somewhere. So they approached me about it. I was down. I thought it was a great idea. I like working together and collaborating with these other content creators and helping everybody grow, because when you work together and you bring everybody's audiences together, that's really the best for the entire gaming community, whether it's just Madden or you have other games in the mix. So I'm now a part of that organization. Definitely check the links below, their Twitter, their YouTube page that already has a few thousand subscribers. We're definitely going to be dropping some exclusive content with the other members of the group on that channel pretty soon, but we're going to still drop most of our content here, of course. But just be on the lookout. Definitely give them a subscribe, because there's going to be some really cool stuff coming there soon. Alright guys, let's get into today's tip. What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you one of the most underutilized run plays in Madden 19. And mainly the reason this run isn't used too often is mainly because of the formation that it's in, but it's starting to pick up a little bit of steam online. You'll see people running it here or there. It's definitely starting to become a little bit of a trendy thing, but the majority of people still don't even really ever think to use this. And it's actually out of the goal line formation, and it's the halfback dive. Now, it's such a very plain and simple run play, yes, so most of you right now are probably thinking, well, what's the big deal about a goal line halfback dive? Well, number one, halfback dives are one of the best types of runs in the game. Not every single halfback dive is created equal, though. There's certain ones out of certain formations that are just better than others, and this one out of goal line is actually really good. It's really hard to stop unless you go goal line yourself on defense, but if you do that, then there's kind of other things you can do out of goal line that can really make it tough to defend if you know what you're doing, if you're kind of skillful and you have good sticks. So mainly when you're running this halfback dive, you're going to want to try to cut it back to the left typically, and then once you're in the open field, of course, it's all about trying to make people miss. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, see here's a goal line set. You're not going to want to run this versus that, but if you see someone come out in a goal line set, one of the few things you could do is go to like the toss. And what I like to do when I go to the toss is I like to flip it, and I want to run it to the weak side, because when most people go goal line and they expect the dive, they're going to, pretty much allow the defensive line to be able to stop the dive, which they'll do a decent job at, and then they're going to try to watch for the toss, but they usually watch for the toss on the right side. But if you toss it to the left, you're going to be able to pick up that block right there from your fullback, and you see you're pretty much off to the races after that. Sometimes you might have another defender you have to fake out, but in one-on-one in the open field in this year's game, see here again, another goal line set. Jukes and spins are just super easy, to fake people out. So you see, like right here, I have this one guy, I hit him with a juke, I set him up, and it's very hard to stop that, especially when you have these really agile running backs versus, these linebackers who just can't match up. So then anytime you see any regular style of defense, you just want to run the dive, and your worst case scenario is usually like 3.5 to 4 yards, which is great, because that's your worst case scenario. It's very rare that your dive is going to get blown up and hit for, a loss of yards. And if you're thinking about a halfback dive, it's not a home run hitting type of play or type of run. This is a run that you use to grind down the defense. You see, we're consistently getting 4 yards, but if you're getting 4 yards a pop, you're basically just going to wear the defense down and keep moving the chains every few plays. Now see here, the hole was just big to that side, so I cut it to the right. Then if you could see, if you come out in any regular type of defense, 3-4, 4-3, nickel, it's going to be very hard to stop this dive. You're going to always have these cutback lanes, and if they're not in a heavy enough set on defense, they're going to get pancaked because you're in goal line on offense. And a lot of people aren't going to want to run goal line defense versus you unless you're running a QB sneak. That's the only time that people really want to run goal line on you. If you're running a halfback dive, people don't want to run goal line on you. They want to stay in their regular defense just in case you throw it or in case you maybe try to toss it. They want to run 3-4 or 4-3 or something of that nature, and none of that's really going to do a good job at stopping this run. It's one of those runs that you have to really you have to match up personnel to stop this run. But as you saw, when you do that, you can easily go for a toss, and you can even, there's even some decent pass plays. See, out of all the times we ran it, that time we got half a yard. That is the one time that we did not get what is considered a good gain out of all the times that we've run it. But every other time you see, we're consistently getting 4 or 5, sometimes even breaking it into the open field for bigger gains. And like I said, you may start to see people run this online. I've started to see people do it. I've seen people in streams doing it. It's kind of just slowly becoming a thing, but it's one of those things that the majority of people would never really think to do because it's in goal line. So now, really quickly, I'm going to back out. I'm going to come out in the goal line set. You already saw how the toss worked, basically, but let's just look at, like, goal line versus a pass, for example. So, because the passes out of goal line obviously aren't the greatest thing in the world, but if you have good tight ends, especially if you're playing in MUT, you can put 3 superstar tight ends out there. Guys like, you could have a George Kittle out there, and then 2 other crazy fast guys, Evan Ingram, whoever the case may be. And you can really, make it easy to kind of just dot people up, especially when they're expecting the run. They got to expect the toss. They got to expect the dive. You can come out in like one of these PA plays, for example. You're going to have a fast running back to the flat really quick, and you could see, like, almost works as like a run play in itself. Almost works as like an outside run play because it's such a really quick, easy, like, just dump down to the flat. If you have a fast running back, he's usually going to be wide open versus most of these goal line sets because they're all man defense and just super easy to pick up yards. Now, me personally, this isn't something I would run all game long. This is something I would throw in. I wouldn't just run goal line as my offense. That's not the kind of player I am. But just kind of just giving you examples of, what to do in case you want to run the dive and they come out in goal line, just giving you examples of, hey, you can pass the ball, hey, you can run a toss to the left, and kind of, make them pay for that. But if I was ever using goal line, I typically, now right there, the guy actually defended me pretty decently. We were able to break the tackle. But majority of the time, as you saw when we run this, he's pretty much just wide open in the flat. But like I said, I would come out in this, just to run a dive, here or there. But I'm just giving you these backup options in case they come out in goal line. Because if they come out in a goal line defense, well, you don't want to run a dive right into the teeth of this. Like, you can still get positive yards. Like, we got a yard there. But, you can still potentially break one if a nice hole opens up. But as you can see, nothing like how when we were running it versus the other coverages. So just something you kind of want to think about. If they go goal line, come out in one of the, hit them with one of these easy pass plays or hit them with the toss play and just make them pay. But this is definitely something I plan to use more in my offense, more so the dive, because it is such a good halfback dive, especially for short yardage situations. If I can come out in this and pretty much guarantee good blocking because I have all this beef up front, well, I'm going to take advantage of that and really, try to, make my opponents pay. Again, the toss is easily open on the left. At most, you're going to have to make that one guy miss, which is very easy to do in this year's game. And you can do a lot more with the formation than you think you can do. But mainly, what I wanted to show was the dive because it is one of, if not the best halfback dives in the game. There's a couple out of single back that are really good as well, but this one's definitely up there, and one that really goes overlooked because most people come to this formation just to run a QB sneak, and that's it, or the occasional toss. But the dive out of this is actually very dangerous and something that you can force your opponent to have to go to goal line to stop it, and once you force them to do that, it can open up other things from you even out of this formation. So definitely try it out for yourself. See what it can do for you. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, as always, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.